down, look all around. Up in the air or on the ground. Come for a walk, come for a ride. There's so much to see, so come outside. Bright yellow petals, strong green leaves, seeds that float up on the breeze. We grow in the country, we grow in the town. Seeds as light as thistledown. What are we? We're dandelions. Look, Pippin. I remember that ball. There wasn't much left by the time you'd finished playing with it. Hello, my dears. That's Pippin, when she was a puppy. She was only 8 weeks old. I made a video with my camcorder to remind myself what she was like then. Hasn't she grown? She liked to play all the time then. She still likes to play. Oh, this won't do. I must get on with my gardening. Come on. Oh, yes. I do need to do a bit of gardening. I didn't plant these weeds here. They just grew by themselves. Not now, Pippin. Go and play. I need to finish my gardening. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockerel shells and pretty maids all in a row, 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 and pretty maids all in a row. And look what's growing in my garden. Dandelions. I know where they come from. Let me tell you the story. We were going to have a day out in the city, so I took my camcorder. Along now, Pippin. Look, there it is. Tower Bridge. First, we went to the Tower of London. There was a wonderful view of Tower Bridge and the river. Boats going under the bridge. Cars and lorries going across. Pippin, you stay there and we'll see how this looks. Come on, Pippin, let's look at the tower. The Tower of London was built hundreds of years ago. Come on, let's go and see. In the old days, boats could sail up the river right to the tower, and people came in through this gate.
Then we went to look for the ravens that live in the Tower of London.
Oh, look, Pippin! There's one! And another!
There are 8 ravens, and they're looked after by the Raven Master.
Hi, how are you?
Very well.
He told me there's a story that as long as the ravens stay here, the tower and the kingdom will be safe. The Raven Master had a very smart uniform. That's because he's one of the yeoman guard who protect the tower. People also call them beef eaters. Perhaps they eat a lot of beef. That would make Pippin a sausage eater.
Bye.
The Tower of London is a very old building, but the city is full of new buildings too. We went to have a look. Walked and walked, and then we found a place by the river where we could sit down. It was very peaceful, even though it was in the middle of the city. I was amazed how things managed to grow there, like those dandelions, growing between the paving stones. Some of the dandelion seeds had landed on Pippin's coat. If these seeds land on some soil, they might grow into new dandelion plants. Even here in the city.
Up in the city, in amongst the buildings, where the traffic rumbles on its way. Nothing much is growing in the busy city, except a little plant we found today. Dandelion yellow, dandelion green, dandelion growing in the city. In amongst the concrete, dandelion lives, dandelion looking very pretty. Up in the city, in the dusty city, where the people hurry on their way. No time for flowers in the dusty city, except a little plant we found today. Dandelion yellow, dandelion green, dandelion growing in the city. In amongst the concrete, dandelion lives, dandelion looking very pretty.
Oh, just a moment, Pippin. Stay. You've still got some dandelion seeds on your coat. I don't want them all over my kitchen floor. There. The seeds fell on the ground and began to grow. Each seed grows roots and leaves. The roots drink water from the ground, and the leaves need light and air. Slowly, the plant grows bigger and bigger, and then some flowers appear. Soon, the petals dry up and die, but now the seeds are growing. Each seed has its own tiny little white hairy parachute, and when the wind blows, they float away, each one looking for a patch of soil to grow in. And here they are. All these dandelions grew from seeds that got stuck to Pippin's coat and travelled all the way from the city to my garden. Not everyone wants dandelions growing in their garden, but I like them. That reminds me of a story. Let me see if I can remember it. Once upon a time, there was a garden. In the middle of the garden was a flower bed. And in the flower bed grew 7 lilies. They were tall and proud and thought they were very important. They loved the sunshine and they loved the rain, and every day they would sing, "We are lilies, we are grand, fairest flowers in the land." One day, the lily on the left suddenly screamed, "Oh, my leaves and petals! Look what's growing in our bed!" And there beside her was a clump of dandelions. The lilies were horrified. "Go away!" they cried. "You're weeds! You don't belong here! You're spoiling our lovely flower bed!" "How can we go away?" said the dandelions. "We're growing here." "Oh, yuck! Spit, spit, spit!" said the lilies. "How can we beautiful lilies share a bed with you, small, ugly little dandelions?" And they turned their heads away. Then they saw Mrs. walking down the garden towards them. She was carrying her garden tools. "Oh, look," said the lily on the left. "Here comes Mrs. to do some gardening. She'll be bound to dig up you horrible little dandelions and throw you on the compost heap." The dandelions shivered with fright as Mrs. came nearer and nearer and knelt down beside them. She took a big pair of scissors from her basket and snip, she picked one of the lilies. Then she picked another, and then another. "Oh, my leaves and petals!" shouted the lily on the left as she too was picked and put in the basket. When Mrs. had picked all 7 lilies, she took them indoors. The dandelions were left safe and sound in the flower bed. Later that day, Mrs. put a vase of flowers in her window, and there were the lilies. No more sunshine and no more rain. All they could do was look out of the window and watch the little dandelions living happily ever after in the garden. Just like these. "Pippin, come and look at your dandelions. Pippin!" "Wherever did you find this?" "It's the ball she used to play with when she was a puppy. Look at the state of this." It looks as though we're going to have lots more dandelions next year.